Susan Clews, I'm Acas's Director for Services in the North West. I'm based in Manchester. I'm also looking after Acas's work to improve our services for small firms. And Acas is all about helping people in the workplace, particularly employers, to get to grips with new legislation or to deal with workplace issues when they arise. Disputes arise for all sorts of different reasons. They're many and varied. I'll just outline a few examples for you. At an individual employee level, the most common ones tend to arise to do with issues around contracts. So we're talking about things like holiday pay, non-payment of wages, overtime bonuses, those sorts of things, pregnancy and maternity as well. The second area where individuals are most likely to be in dispute with their employer are around disciplinary issues. And the kinds of things we mean there are things like lateness, absenteeism, maybe poor work performance. And the third area, which is becoming increasingly more common, and Acas is dealing with a lot of enquiries at the moment from our helpline, is around bullying and harassment in the workplace as well. They're the issues that are most likely to affect an individual in the workplace. If we look at collective disputes where there are several employees involved, these tend to be around issues to do with pay, terms and conditions, perhaps redundancy as well. If we're talking about how you'd realise the dispute in the workplace, it might be that there's been a grievance made by a member of staff or a complaint to their line manager or their boss. Also, if the dispute's developed in some way, it could manifest itself in a claim being made to an employment tribunal. But there are also many more disputes that really don't manifest themselves in that formal dispute scenario. What I'm talking about here is perhaps an employee who's demotivated. There might be tension in the workplace, the individual might be maybe having time off work, coming in late, and all those sorts of factors can be really damaging in a workplace. And I think the bottom line is they have an impact on productivity. The practical ways of trying to prevent a dispute include, for example, making sure that an employee is absolutely clear about the rules and the terms of engagement. So that could be an employer making sure they've got a written statement, making sure that standards are clear to the employee, like dress codes, timekeeping, those sorts of issues. And also from a management point of view, line managers need to know quite what's expected of them, what sort of standards they should be enforcing on the workforce as well. Now, if all of that's clear right from the start of somebody joining a company, it really does help to minimise the likelihood of disputes. But there's more you can do as well. I think really it's important that managers in the workplace are confident in dealing with people issues so that when a problem first arises, they can tackle the issue. Acas would advise that in order to tackle a dispute, that the company deals with it as quickly as possible and at a lowest level within the organisation. So what I'm talking about here is a line manager having an informal conversation with a member of staff to feed back to them what aspect of their behaviour isn't appropriate perhaps, and then hoping that that resolves it at a very informal level. If that isn't successful, then the company may need to progress to use policies and procedures, for example, disciplinary action. But I think it's really important to bear in mind what we're trying to achieve here is an improvement in performance of the individual or a change to their behaviour that solves the problem. Another way that a dispute could be resolved is by getting employees to work together with managers to come up with a solution. Let me give you an example. For example, a company wanting to bring in new rotas, new staff working patterns. This might be something that could be confrontational and result in a dispute. Far better if all parties sit round the table together, look at what's needed within the organisation and then come up with solutions. Of course, dealing with a dispute or a conflict situation can be difficult. It can be stressful for managers and for employees as well. So there might be times when it's helpful to ask a third party for some help in the situation, and that's where Acas can come in. You could call the helpline on 08457 47 47 47 or access our website, and we'll give you clear, simple advice about dealing with problems at work. Or if you want some hands-on help, then we can send one of our mediators to tackle the problem or to provide training for the company as well. Acas's experience, based on dealing with thousands of small companies and larger firms as well, is that it's really best to tackle conflict as soon as you see the first signs of it. Don't brush it under the carpet. Involve line managers to try and resolve the problem at an early stage, and make sure line managers are trained to do that with confidence as well. And the outcome of all of that's a win-win situation, motivated and committed employees and a successful company as well.